It's been a long day of meetings and high-profile events, but the celebrations aren't over quite yet. This year, the Washington trip finishes off in style with the American Ireland Fund dinner, where politicians, socialites and high-profile figures from the US and Ireland come together to raise a glass and celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, this is a great night. I mean, it's a real sign of the power of Irish America in DC. We have members of the House, members of the Senate, a great business community here. Tonight is going to be a $1 million night for Irish charities, right here in the heart of the nation's capital. Well, it's St. Patrick's Month, genuinely. I mean, we've done events from the Pacific coast to the Atlantic coast. We've probably had about 6,000–7,000 people attending our events. They started way back at the end of February, and you know, our donors have come out in great force, young and old. It's tremendous.
The American Ireland Fund supports charitable causes in Ireland and the US.
Welcome, Council Member, Mayor of Richmond, Lieutenant Governor of Virginia.
I am deeply humbled to be here tonight. It's a great gathering tonight. A lot of Irish American people, a lot of people from Ireland, from Britain, realizing that we all share this one planet together, and the one yearning the world over is for a job. I believe that this is an important year for Ireland and an important year for Irish America as well, to be able to see this sort of interplay that's gone back and forth over the Atlantic. That seemingly wide ocean that divides us is actually a thing that unites us and has united us throughout our history. It's hard to imagine America moving forward without the contributions of Irish Americans and Irish people. And it's hard to imagine Ireland achieving its independence and being able to sustain a peace process without the echo of Irish America back.
Over 850 guests attended the 24th annual gala, which is all about recognising Ireland, raising money for worthy causes and, of course, networking. The highlight of this year's gala was when US House Speaker Paul Ryan presented a special leadership award to his predecessor, John Boehner, who may not have Irish blood, but certainly has the spirit.
Traditionally, the Speaker doesn't typically weigh in on the big foreign affairs issues. John Boehner took a different path, a very important path. He stood with our allies. He spoke out for people who are longing to be free. And in the Irish people, in their Prime Minister, and in their golf courses, he found a kindred spirit. They were never Mr. Speaker or on Taoiseach. It was always just John and Enda. These two guys really got along great. And in a way, the friendship between these two men symbolized the friendship between our two countries.
Boehner, Bonner, Boner, I'm as German gets, for God's sakes. You can't find any Irish anywhere. But let me tell you what, America would only be half of what America is without the Irish. I'm sitting there between the Taoiseach and the President Obama, and Taoiseach leans over and says, John, he says, how's immigration reform coming? I said, what the hell do you care about immigration reform? Oh, John, you don't realize that there are about 50,000 of my fellow Irish who came to America to see their friends and see their relatives, but just never quite made it back across the pond. He says, you know, their relatives have to, in America, can't go back, so they have to call their brothers and sisters and cousins at their parents' funeral. This can't happen. And so I told the Taoiseach, I said, listen, I'll be happy to work on this. And I did work on it. But every year at this luncheon for 5 years, the Taoiseach, John, how's immigration reform coming? I go to Ireland this summer. I take a group of members. We were in Europe. We were in Europe and ending the trip over the 4th of July in Ireland. And the ambassador, Kevin O'Malley, and his wife could not have been more gracious, and the Taoiseach could not have been more gracious. But you know, I wasn't in Ireland more than an hour when, you know, I'm dealing with the Taoiseach, my buddy, and he says, John, how's immigration reform coming? Let me tell you, we had a great visit to Ireland. I've been there many times. And every time I'm there, I'm reminded of the genuine nature of the Irish people. And it doesn't matter, you know, I can do my Dublin thing, but I just assume be out in the countryside. And you realize just how genuine the Irish people are and how blessed we are to have many of them here in America. We had a great visit to Ireland. I've been there many times. And every time I'm there, I'm reminded of the genuine nature of the Irish people. And it doesn't matter, you know, I can do my Dublin thing, but I just assume be out in the countryside. And you realize just how genuine the Irish people are and how blessed we are to have many of them here in America.
Of course, no St. Patrick's Day celebration is complete without a parade, and DC doesn't disappoint.
What we're trying to do with the St. Patrick's Day Parade, it's not about what you may see in popular culture of the Irish culture. It's about the unique Irish American culture and how it helped build this country into what it is. And most people within the DMV area has some sort of Irish within them. Even if they don't, they can still appreciate how their own culture helped build America and interact with the Irish as well.
This is the 45th annual St. Patrick's Day Parade in Washington, D.C., and it's just one of a number that take place around the region. There's marching bands, there's traditional pipe bands, there's tons of different types of floats, and while of course there's plenty of green, there's also lots of red, white and blue as well. Are you excited for the parade?
Yeah.
We march in the parade every year. It's kind of our home thing. We do a lot of parades throughout the country. We've been to Ireland one time, and we're trying to go back there. But coming here to DC is our home. We're firefighters here in the city. Everybody in the band is a firefighter for DC, so it's our home turf.
These parades because there's awesome stuff and you get to see a lot of things that you wouldn't usually get to see on a normal day, and you're allowed to look weird in the streets.
Well, the parade is good, and people come up with different foods, and they have a lot of parties, especially the fire department, the Emerald Society Fire Department here, the Police Emerald Society, and they have different, at the FOP Lodge, they put on a big food thing. Here it's like corned beef and cabbage, and not like the old ham and cabbage that we have back home. But they do have that, and dress up everything pretty good. And of course, there's Irish whiskey and Irish beer. I think that's the best thing in the world, you know. So a lot of Guinness is bought and drank that day, or the next couple of days actually. So yeah.
Well, this was the idea of the DC State Board to produce this in recognition of the 100th centennial of the Rising. And it was done by combined members of the DC State Board and the divisions within the board.
Fantastic. How long did it take to make?
A long time. No, it was done primarily over a period of time, and it was finally assembled yesterday, as a matter of fact. And came from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. We had to collapse it and then rebuild it here on site, so it was quite a task.
Well, that's it from us in the celebrations in Washington, D.C. for this year. We hope you've enjoyed this peek into the history, the fun and the glamour that accompanies St. Patrick's Day here. See you soon.